Passion, excellence, skills. As Payapa Elementary School diligently lives this mantra for the school community stakeholders. With reference to the Vision Memorandum Number 368 Series of 2020, all schools are enjoined to implement the Project 2N-AIP. Since the school year 2020-2021 closed last July 10 of 2021, all schools are expected to end the implementation of the Project 2N-AIP. This is Payapa Elementary School Year-End Report on the accomplishment on Project 2N-AIP for school year 2020-2021. We have to change the way we teach our learners. We have to prepare them for a world that is drastically changing, as Briones emphasized. We know that we cannot stop learners from learning despite this challenge in our lives. Learners can become who they wanted to be in the future, and in the same manner that we will lose our human capital. And this is one thing that we do not want to happen. These are reasons why the learning continuity plan has been crafted in a manner which will engage learners in a continuous process of learning while the pandemic is existing. While the pandemic will not only have possible long-lasting effects to our educational system, its lesson will also lead to a more fundamental change. Resilience amidst the threat on health requires all of us to act differently. Powered effort and shared knowledge and leadership of the following persons: our hard-working head teacher 2, Mrs. Lou R. Grencio, together with the 7 dynamic teachers, we are able to come up with this essential report for this fourth quarter. Payapa Elementary School teachers inculcate academic competence, but we also instill discipline among our learners who are dependable and trustworthy. Thus, Payapa Elementary School community in the new normal says, learning must never stop amidst the pandemic. In the light of COVID-19 situation, where there will be no face-to-face classes, the closure of school doesn't mean the learning also stops. Learning shifted from public space to personal space as students study at the comfort and safety of their homes at their own pace. We have launched Project Ayala, which aims to help parents and guardians to designate conducive learning space or area where students do their learning tasks at home in the modular distance learning. In addition, collaboration between parents and teachers bridge the two learning environments, home and school, to promote children's development adequately. In this new normal, Payapa Elementary School always reinforced to both teachers and parents that it is important that teachers know the learning environment of each learner, a place where basic things for learning is provided with proper ventilation and well lighted. To engage parents, the teachers also encourage them to help their children that would also minimize the use of cell phones, which may distract focused learning. The school also closely monitors that the learners are able to stick to the schedule prescribed by the school in a weekly home learning plan. And to make sure that the learning environment is as stimulating as possible, we teachers provided our learners printed materials and educational posters that will motivate them and let them feel the ambience like they are in school. Along the way, learners are always provided with the needed assistance. The school strengthened the partnership with parents and their children to realize the goal. As a result, we were able to eliminate numbers of learners within favorable learning environment. Also, parents were more supportive in guiding their children in schoolworks. We believe that content of learning is necessary, that the daily lesson of our learners are anchored on most essential learning competencies. LAC sessions were conducted to develop lesson plan that is anchored in MELCs. MELC Private 4A BAU, which aims to redirect the teaching of the target learning competencies into more precise and quality-driven direction by placing emphasis on the most essential learning competencies, involving more relevant knowledge and attitudes or values significant to the ever-changing 21st century society. Also, this project directs the adaptation and reformation of the curriculum to the current demands of the society while the country is adjusting to the emerging needs of the new normal. Payapa Elementary School launched Project Grace, which is also anchored on the school project Basa Payapa and Project Eagles. The objectives of this project is to reduce the number of slow readers and non-numerates, also to increase MPS in English and mathematics. Provided modified activities that suit the learner's level of learning capabilities and connected to the learning task to real-life situations. Also, teachers used localized materials and differentiated instruction. Through Project Grace, we were able to eliminate the numbers of non-readers and non-numerates and improve their reading and numeracy skills. Also, there is an increase in MPS result in English and mathematics from first quarter to fourth quarter. Payapa Elementary School teachers wanted a quality education to every student that can be achieved through different teaching learning methods. Being an effective teacher therefore requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching strategies in order to meet students' individual needs. The importance of using varied methods and strategies is to facilitate the learning of all students. This means that the teachers have to cultivate the lessons in a sense of manner in instruction that successfully challenge every student to participate. We teachers should be innovative and creative to cope up with the current situation we are facing. The notion of innovation, the desire of knowledge, of creating something helpful out of what is going on around us, have to be inculcated to our learners. We, teachers, use stagalized SLM in science for intermediate level for the lessons they find difficulty. And to cope with the new normal situation, video lessons were provided to our learners. Through Project EDNA, we were able to increase MPS result in science and mathematics. Learning resources in contemporary times are more than outdated study materials, and its effectiveness is dominated by the variation in teaching process and innovative learning materials. Every individual has its own learning needs and learning style. In a similar manner, every teacher uses different teaching and learning resources that indicates towards the effectiveness of the teaching process. Effective usage of proper learning resources helps the student to construct more than superficial knowledge, that is building in-depth knowledge on a particular subject and also developing their individual learning strategies, values, attitudes, and genetic skills. It is important to use proper learning resources in the teaching process in order to build a solid foundation for lifelong learning. Human resources are also considered potential source of knowledge, values, and skills. In modular distance learning approach, parents would have to play an active role in learning process. They facilitated and guided their children through modular lessons that were given to them. To provide learners with access to quality basic education even at home, parents and guardians or tutors aided them. We have taken advantage of media to provide constant feedback on students' output. The communication system in a teaching-learning situation serves dual purpose: to promote common understanding in instruction and to set and maintain a healthy psychological climate in the learner home conducive to learner. The school hub helped in providing learners tips on how to cope and catch up with their lessons through different media. The learners and their parent or guardian are allowed to use their preferred medium of instruction for enhanced understanding. This is practiced by Payapa Elementary School through the Project BECA. The use of media to enhance teaching and learning complements traditional approaches to learning. Effective instruction builds bridges between students' knowledge and learning objectives of the course. Using media engages students, aids student retention of knowledge, motivates interest in the subject matter, and illustrates the relevance of many concepts. Therefore, bridge the gap between school and learners by enabling a connection to a wider community to share resources and assist one another. Through providing access to global instructors and exposure to countless invaluable resources to facilitate learning, students can learn while developing a more in-depth and critical understanding. Project Meet is one of the projects implemented to motivate and sustain learners' interest in doing their schoolworks, addressing challenges met by them that should be properly considered and acted upon. Whereas the parents must be the first to be motivated and mindful to engage themselves in the teaching learning. The school also provides orientation to parents or guardians wherein they are gathered in school in accordance with the IATF protocols so they can be provided with informations on how to motivate their children. Motivation is essential to achieve a high academic performance. During COVID-19, it can be source of courage, strength, and resilience. The pandemic has added an extra layer of panic to already stressful times. With the future cloaked in uncertainty and no classroom environment to spark inspiration, many students may find their motivation to learn dwindling. Parents can help their children rediscover a sense of purpose, igniting a desire to learn, aiding them through these challenging times. As a result, Project Meet is an effective program to arouse learners' interest. Motivating an individual is absolutely necessary for learning. To be able to sustain their interest and the benefits of achieving academic excellence, they should receive impeccable support and constructive feedback from their mentors, advisors, and role models. By having this kind of support, they will be aware of the outcome or end results of their behaviors and actions. One of the challenging parts of our task in teaching, especially during this time of pandemic, is mastery since there is diversity among learners. Effective implementation at scale will completely change how students learn, how teachers teach, and how school work. Concept of teaching to mastery or mastery learning works on the premise that children learn best at their own rate when they are exposed to information repeatedly, perhaps in different forms and in relation to new facts and ideas. A variety of instructional techniques must be used in order for students to be engaged in learning. The application of mastery learning will raise the level of learning retention of students and will be very helpful to achieve instructional objectives by all of the students. The graph reveals the MPS comparison from first quarter to fourth quarter. It shows that the result of MPS of 80.19 for the last quarter is higher than the previous quarters. This means that through Project Angie, we were able to increase MPS result for the present quarter. Interventions were given to our learners, like personalizing the learning experience to learners and learn at a pace that best suits their needs. Also, we intensified our ongoing school programs and projects, namely Project EAR, Project Pasapayapa, and Project Eagles. This is the final stage in teaching learning sequence involving the systematic collection of learning evidences. With the issuance of DepEd Order Number 31 Series of 2020 entitled Interim Guidelines for Assessment and Grading in Light of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, teachers are guided on measuring learners' achievement during this time of pandemic to ensure that all learners are fairly assessed and graded in the continuation of education and to emphasize that learning standards shall be attained with the provision of reasonable leniency and considerations for possible difficulties met by the learner. To ensure that effective learning happens, measurement of instruction is one should be properly monitored and evaluated. we teachers designed assessment to allow flexibility in modular learning. In addition, we informed all the parents and guardians about the new grading system. Also, we gave timely, constructive, and relevant feedbacks to our learners and recorded their progress remotely. With Project Joanne, we use a standard-based assessment for learning in which students demonstrate mastery of various competencies instead of earning points. We ask each student to let us know about anything that might affect their performance or help us understand how to support them. Reach out to struggling students and offered encouragement and flexibility deadlines. We gave students and parents feedbacks on whether their performance and learning tasks are developing toward meeting or exceeding learning targets. Also, we welcome students to revise or improve their work and gave opportunities to those students who submitted incomplete works. In distance learning modalities, we teachers shall design assessment bearing the assumption that the learners will asynchronously take them and have open access to various resources. Moreover, we've set realistic expectation and use our professional judgment to find a good balance between what is effective and what is feasible to accomplish remotely.
Ito po ngayon, nararamdaman ko po sa pagtuturo sa aking mga anak ay napakahirap kasi minsan may mga pag-aaral po kahit ipaliwanag ng magulang at ituro at kailangan po ito ay may gabay na kanilang guro. Nais ko rin pong magpasalamat po sa teacher ko ng Payap Elementary School sa pagbibigay po sa amin ng table po para sa pag-aaral po ng aking pitong anak. Maraming salamat.
Once again, this is Payapa Elementary School, Project 2N-AIP for the 4th quarter.
Yeah.